Welcome back. You are still watching Morning Live. We get into our sport news now. The Proteas vice captain, Karla Pretorius, is widely considered as one of the best goal defenders in netball. An impressive performance at the recent Netball World Cup was proof that her reputation can be backed up by action. She joins us now right here on Morning Live to catch up and talk about what's happened for her since the World Cup and what the future plans are for her. Good morning, Karla. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports and Morning Live.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, Karla, I know that at the breakfast that was held by the department straight after the World Cup, you and I spoke about this, but I just want to, for the benefit of our viewers, to just talk about the World Cup experience for you as a whole on home soil. I mean, it was a successful World Cup overall for South Africa, but not so much in terms of the results for the Proteas. Talk to us about this tournament for you and what it meant.
Yeah, it was definitely a very special event for us all, especially having it in home, playing in front of our own people. It was really, very special. We went into that competition with very high hopes. I think we had the right team together. We just didn't get the results we wanted. It was obviously along the way some great stuff. I think the standout was the draw against New Zealand. And then obviously didn't end up to end the way we wanted. So I think it was disappointed because we had so much hope for this group and team. But overall, I think as time went on, we had an opportunity to really look back at it and identify where we could have done better. But overall, it's been good.
And you speak about looking back at the tournament now and seeing where you could have done better. As a team, what would you say your biggest lessons were from the World Cup? And in terms of your own individual performance, what were your biggest learning points?
I think when you play on that stage, consistency is very key. I think up to that last game, we had some great performances, and then it just didn't come together that last game. It just shows you that it's not the way you start. You need to continue that all the way through. So I think for us, like even that last game, it was really disappointing. It overshadows all the rest that was pretty good. So I think it just comes back to consistency, and you need to perform for that 60 minutes and in a tournament for that all 7, 8 games.
One of the big things that's come out since the World Cup, and of course we've read some articles on it, is about you specifically deciding not to stay on with your team out in Australia. Speak to us about that and what influenced that decision.
I think my head was always, I want to be able to come back and play World Cup, and then I'll see where everything goes after that. So yeah, I've decided after 7 years playing for Sunshine Coast Lightning that I won't be returning there. Obviously, there's a lot of things that played an influence or had an influence, but probably the biggest thing, obviously now having a family, it's a bit more difficult going over when it's just me and my baby girl, leaving my husband behind because he has his work here. It's just not sustainable, and we don't want to continue doing that. We want to be together as a family. So obviously a few opportunities back home, over here in Bloemfontein specifically. So I think I was ready for that next chapter, and I'm still very content with that decision I've made. It's been a great 7 years, and I've experienced so many great things, and I think it's the right time to come back home.
And coming back home, anything yet in terms of where you're going to be playing? Are you going to be playing? Are you going to just take a little bit of time out?
Well, definitely 2024 season, I won't be going abroad. I'm just going to stay right here at home, which I'm very much looking forward to. So obviously we have the tour now, upcoming tour against Australia, and then in December against England, and then I'll reevaluate everything in January, like in terms of opportunities going forward, work-wise, netball-wise, and then I'll make a decision from there. But definitely not going abroad in 2024.
Definitely not. We love it. We want you here in South Africa. But Karla, just as I start wrapping up with you, you speak about your tour to Australia, and I know you guys are going to be meeting up in camp on the 12th of October. What are your expectations going into this tour out against the world champions now? We saw their performance out at the World Cup, and I mean just the resilience of that team. And you speak about your learning lessons as a team from the World Cup. What are your expectations from a team point of view?
I think definitely it's going to be a big battle, and we even during World Cup kind of wished we can come up against Australia and even England, and it will be good now to measure us against them. I think now building for the next World Cup, this is great. If we look back in 2019 World Cup, we had so many international test that was played against the top teams, where I think that lacked with the build-up to 2023. So I think this is a step in the right direction. We need to play these international countries several times building up to the next World Cup. And this is the first step in that direction. So not just to see where we're at currently against the world champs, but also now starting to build towards the next World Cup.
Karla, thank you so much for your time here this morning. Good luck out in Australia as you go play against them, and good luck. We look forward to seeing what you're going to do after 2024.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Karla Pretorius, the vice captain of the Proteas, just speaking all things netball. And we do know that the Proteas will be getting together, going into camp on the 12th of October, just preparing to go up against the world champions out in Australia.